Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello, Joy. Hello, Beachcomber, Mena, Mud Skipper. Thank you all for joining us today. We wanted to do this video, this reaction video to reporter Mark Bunker that we do have to support and hopefully get elected because he was reporting back in the day when the Lisa McPherson protests were going on in Los Angeles and reporting on very similar patterns that we're spotting for ourselves today now with the LAPD. So back in the day, it was the Clearwater Police, and now we have the LAPD. And yes, to establish there's corruption, we have to look at patterns. We cannot just look at one-offs. We cannot just look at, oops, that was a whoopsie. Oh, okay, but nobody intended to be involving themselves in horrific patterns of corruption. So the festering cesspool of corruption within the Clearwater Police Department reeks of hypocrisy and cowardice, mirroring the stench that permeated the aftermath of Lisa McPherson's tragic demise. And now today, the steps are being followed by the LAPD, no less. So imagine that Lisa McPherson did have a horrific, tragic demise, you guys. And now we have a full-blown conviction, and as we all know, whatever happened to Danny Masterson, and the restaurant La Pubelle is being protested, and we're going to see. The LAPD shamelessly followed the same playbook of deceit and collusion, orchestrated by Mike Rinder, a man whose moral compass points straight to the depths of literal depravity. Rinder, a maestro of manipulation and cover-ups, orchestrated a symphony of corruption in Clearwater, conducting operations with the finesse of a seasoned con artist that he is and was, in our own personal AF opinion. Under his malevolent guidance, the Clearwater Police so-called police department became nothing more than a lapdog for Scientology, betraying the very citizens, including but not limited to all minors ensnared by Rinder and his posse, who supposedly, they were there to sworn and protect these police departments. LOL. So we can say LOL. These police departments are protecting who? The similarities are nauseating, and a brazen disregard for children's lives, callous indifference to justice, and a spineless capitulation to the whims of a cult masquerading as a religion inside hotels and commercial buildings. The Clearwater Police, once guardians of the law, now stand as a shameful testament to the rot that infest our justice system, now seen full-blown examples in the literal LAPD. But let's not overlook the differences, shall we? While the tactics may have evolved, the underlying corruption remains as putrid as ever. The faces may have changed, but the stench of betrayal lingers, a foul reminder of the department's complicity in the systemic enabling crimes of Scientology committed against underage minors, ages 18 and under, that were told with a straight face that they were volunteers with their passports fully locked up and confiscated to prevent escape. It's time to strip away the facade of respectability and expose the Clearwater Police for what they truly are, a nest of vipers poisoning the well of justice with their lies and their deceit. The children of Clearwater and all minors transported from across the world to be exploited and sadistically trafficked deserve literally better. They deserve a police force that serves the people, not a cult masquerading as a church that runs out of a hotel, offering services to adults willing to get a tax write-off by the IRS while role-playing indefensible power dynamics played out in the audits pitched by convicted felon L. Ron Kaka Hubbard. LOL. No more excuses and no more playing dumb. It's time to clean house and rid the department of the corrupt officers and leadership that have infested its ranks with dollar signs to do the opposite of what taxpayers are paying them to literally do. So let's react to what was literally exposed in this segment by Mark Bunker. You guys support his campaign, please.
We're in downtown Clearwater, Florida, in the very heart of what the Scientology organization considers their spiritual headquarters. 25 years ago, Scientology came to Clearwater under the pseudonym United Churches. L. Ron Hubbard set into motion a plan called Project Normandy, a covert operation designed for the complete takeover of Clearwater.
It said,
penetrate and handle, bugged investigations, covert collection, fully investigate each one. Secret Project Normandy, who Mike Rinder was tapped to literally be one of the first people that came into the scam of this disgusting hotel that got propped up at the behest of L. Ron Hubbard.
move into Clearwater, find out who your friends are, develop them, find out who your enemies are, destroy them, and infiltrate every organization you can.
This is a criminal organization. They don't really care about individuals other than themselves.
I mean, imagine how far they have come. You guys, imagine that there was a mayor in Clearwater that literally had BALLSs that was subjected to unthinkable, horrific fair game campaigns that these people did get away with instituting. And we have a retired police chief who also was smelling the rat before they were being fully infiltrated by all of Mike Rinder's proteges that he sent on down there to compromise and kneecap all law enforcement at the behest of this disgusting convicted felon who Mikey Poo Rinder used to worship. Oh my God, L. Ron Hubbard. Oh my God, you're such an amazing person. Let me just sign up to do your PR pro bono.
Scientology's covert operations were run by the Guardian's Office, a branch of Scientology which has since been renamed the Office of Special Affairs.
FBI agents had enough evidence on the Scientologists to raid their headquarters in Los Angeles and Hollywood. They took 43,000 documents. Many of them were actually stolen from top government agencies in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere.
They infiltrate.
43,000 boxes of documents. Imagine that these people kept documenting their criminal activity inside of the hotels. That every single time a minor was essayed, documented, put it in the PC folder, here, Serge, write it here, write it right here, write it also right here, send it to OSA. Right, Mike Rinder? Or wrong? Was essay of minors sent to OSA, yes or no? It's a yes or no answer. Were you informed? Were you told? Were you CC'd? Were you called? Did you then liaise with attorneys that you had on speed dial so you can cover it all up quickly? Yes or no? Was this documented? Yes or no? Did you get a video recording of the self-admitted felon saying, yes, I did this many times, this many ways, this many places inside of these hotels? Yes or no? Where's your plausible deniability? Where? Oh, because I really thought I was doing a religious thing, because L. Ron Hubbard did tell me that everything we did was for the greater good of who? Of who exactly was this the greater good for?
Traded government offices, and were caught at it.
Their entire top leadership was investigated, indicted, tried, and convicted, and sent to the pokey. They went to jail for this.
Imagine they did go to jail for stealing governmental documents, because God forbid anyone touches the boxes of this government. But help yourself to kids, because the government doesn't give an F if you help yourself to kids. If you touch their boxes, then, oh my God, let's really do convict and indict these people, because they really are out of their mind to be stealing our boxes and our documents. You want to help yourself to some kids? Okay, go ahead. Oh, this is a religious thing you're doing? Oh, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. Run your hotel. Nobody gives an F is what the hell this is giving.
Over 20 years, the Clearwater Police Department actively investigated Scientology. For much of that time, the investigation was led by Ray Emmons.
We knew that there were predicate crimes. We knew that it was a continuing fraudulent enterprise. Still is to this day, as far as I'm concerned, and that's my opinion.
Imagine that, you guys. Imagine that this man, retired police chief, knew it was a fraudulent enterprise covering up crimes. Imagine he didn't know what they were doing to kids. He didn't know what Mike Rinder was doing to kids. He didn't know the type of information Mike Rinder was receiving, the type of daily reports. Oh, dear sir, look what we just found here for ourselves. The self-admitted PEDO told us that he did all of these things. Right, Mike Rinder, or wrong? Nestor Vives, would you know who the hell that is? Do you know he was essaying a 6-year-old at the cadet org? If you don't know Nestor Vives, go call up your little friend Debbie Cook and ask her, oh, hi, Debbie Cook. Do you know anything about Nestor Vives? Was he essaying a 6-year-old? Did we find out everything about it? Oh, okay. Did we do a sec check? Oh, did we send him to the RPF? Oh, did we then disappear him to Nicaragua? Cool. Okay, Debbie. Nice talking to you. Imagine this police chief had no clue what all minors were getting exposed to, because at that time, no minor had the ability to have gone to the Clearwater Police, something that the Clearwater Police today doesn't have that same excuse. Today, the Clearwater Police has been told, has been informed. The minors that were essayed inside of those hotels have gone and taken the time to sit with them, to type affidavits, to tell them what in the hell is going on, only for them to play dumb. That's what in the hell is called.
But we shopped it around to the federal people, to the state people. And the first question always asked by a prosecutor was, will they harass me? Will they follow me?
I mean, imagine the insult. Prosecutors, grown-ass men and women that take on the job of prosecutor, and you're scared if you're going to get harassed? What in the hell do prosecutors in the United States think happen to kids that get stuck in those hotels? In what world are they? Oh, are they going to come after me? Oh, boo-hoo. I have the FBI on speed dial, but oh my God, I wouldn't want to be harassed. I mean, I want to do a job, but, don't harass me. I mean, God forbid you stand up for children's rights. God forbid in America a single shred of prosecutor stands up for kids' rights. How much information had the Clearwater Police provided those prosecutors before they were, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be inconvenienced, you know? Give me another case. Let me really use my prosecutorial judgment or whatever in the hell they call it. It's like, oh no, I don't want to take that case. You know what? Give me another one. Give me another one. I just don't want to be harassed. I hear they're very intimidating. I hear they're very, who in the hell would want to deal with Mike disgusting Rinder? Who in the hell would want to deal with that disgusting clown goon that will just completely type every day, what in the hell are we going to do to screw prosecutors over and intimidate them so they don't even think twice of taking a case? And yes, all the children that are being abused inside of that hotel, better luck next lifetime is all we ever get with these people.
2 years ago, when Mike Roberto became the new city manager, the investigation stopped abruptly. Roberto forged a new alliance between Scientology and the city.
No matter what they had done in the past, the one city, one future took precedence over everything, no matter what.
Shortly after the Lisa
No matter what they had done to the past, no matter that they were on the record being convicted and indicted for stealing boxes from the literal government offices, of which has been the only thing that a prosecutor in these United States has given a shred of an F about. God forbid you move a document from their offices. Move kids all across the world, and we will still not give a shred of an F. Did they take a document? No? Then you know what? No, we're not interested. Are they going to harass me? What? Harass me? Oh, hell, I don't want to deal with this. Bye. Bye. Imagine that is the state of legal affairs in this country that purport to be a nation of laws, a nation where, yes, the rule of the law, no one's above the law, you guys. No one's above the law. No one's above the law. That is a platitude. That's what in the hell you call a living, literal platitude. With what kind of straight face can America say that it has laws to uphold? It has laws that clearly delineate all the aspects of what constitutes trafficking a child across state lines, locking up their passport, keeping them in indentured slavery inside of a hotel, not a church, contrary to popular belief, contrary to the false pitch that Mike Rinder went with, as he was obsessed with literally propping up his little L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, he's such a genius, you guys. He really had a technology. He really wanted to save a world. What world was being saved at the expense of children being enslaved, Mike Rinder? Answer that question today with a straight face. What world was really being saved by you? Which world?
McPherson Trust opened its doors in January. Bob Minton and I had a meeting with Mike Roberto, the city manager. And we explained to him that we're in town to educate the city of Clearwater about some of the abusive and deceptive practices of Scientology. Mike Roberto's reply to us was that he had just spent 2 years getting Scientology off the front page of the newspaper. And
did you have anything to do with getting Scientology off the newspaper, Mike Rinder, since you were the crisis manager pro bono publicist of L. Ron Hubbard? What in the literal hell was your involvement in getting Scientology off the newspaper? What type of relationship do you have with Thomas C. Tobin that all he ever did was then launder your disgusting image? Pitch you as a victim. Oh, David Miscavige really did beat me. I'm such a victim of David Miscavige. Breaking news. Let's talk about it ad nauseum. Ad nauseum, ad nauseum, ad nauseum. So for 2 years, this man was tapped to take Scientology's name off of the front cover of their pathetic Tampa Bay Times Now newspaper. And still, that newspaper is nowhere to be found reporting on anything. Because all they give an F about is if it doesn't have the name Miscavige in it, if it doesn't have adults coming to them, knocking on their door to tell them about their beat up story, then they're not interested.
He was not about to let us get Scientology back on the front page again.
Imagine the corruption in Clearwater with the politicians that are not about to let Scientology go to the newspaper. What type of corrupt, whitewashing newspaper is the Tampa Bay Times? What type of control are politicians really wielding to rein back any possible headline that might look bad? Because all the Tampa Bay Times wants to talk about now is buildings. Oh, you guys, look, breaking news. Lots of buildings in Clearwater getting acquired and paid by cash. Straight up cash. All these buildings being acquired with what? People paying 2-3 times the actual property value. And yes, Tracy McManus, well done on reporting about buildings ad nauseum. I hope you feel really great about that. I hope you really feel great and you go home and you sleep really well at night, typing away about, oh, we're really concerned. Look, there's an empty news. Oh, there's another empty there. There's another empty there. And lots of emptiness in Clearwater downtown. You know, it's really tragic. You know, it would be really nice for people to enjoy Clearwater. Right, Tracy? It would be so nice for people to just, you know, go there to a little restaurant in the downtown. And wouldn't it be a wonderful thing for Clearwater to be revitalized? Meanwhile, neither you nor your disgusting Thomas E. Tobin, whatever in the hell he is, the editor-in-chief of whatever, give an F about kids. That's on the public record. So before you play victim, it's like, oh, Serge, you really have something, a bone to pick with us. Yeah, a literal bone to literally pick. The fact that you have done nothing to report on children's issues, which that hotel is literally to the nth degree filled with 18 and under issues, mind you. 18 and under, kids that have no advocates. No advocates on the inside, no advocates on the outside, no advocates anywhere to be MF found. Because, you know, maybe better luck next lifetime. Next lifetime, they might get a better, you know, deal, right?
And he told us in no uncertain terms that if we caused any trouble for him or for his plans for Clearwater, he was going to get us out of town.
Roberto's embracing of Scientology brought about many changes. The police department stopped all active investigation of Scientology, and they stopped the training program that taught new recruits what Scientology is and does. Indeed, today...
So what type of influence did you wield in regards to that, Mike Rinder? Because again, in what world is the Clearwater Police getting kneecapped and you acting completely clueless? In what world is that? In what type of delusional world are you living in, not coming clean on your actual withholds? All you ever do is give paperclip withholds. Oh, let me really tell you about this time, you guys. Let me really talk about this. Let me really clean up this. All you do is regurgitate everything that's on the public record already, and you never give off any type of withhold that you know you have, that you know you hide, that you know you were literally the mastermind of kneecapping all of this. You and your little buddies at your OSA office. So don't think that you're being targeted unfairly. You had an amount of posse underneath you. All manner of hand-selected people. You got what it takes to be an OSA. Come here. You got what it takes to be an OSA. Come here. You need to be posted in OSA. Come here. All these henchmen underneath you and henchwomen that you used as honeypots. Oh, really go and, you know, Become friends with the LAPD, become friends with the Clearwater Police Department, because that's all it takes for y'all to send a honeypot, and then all of a sudden, these could not be more kneecapped.
Many in the Clearwater Police Department work for Scientology on their days off.
And I mean, imagine that what you see right here, you guys. I was here. I was right in that building right there where Mark Bunker is, you know, talking about this and that. I was there as this literally was being reported. Because me, along with plenty of other minors, were locked up against their will in this disgusting scheme that we thought was all about saving the world. And it turns out it was all about sadistically abusing others, sadistically getting groomed to really do a position, to really teach this to this and that, as if my own grandmother wasn't used to groom me to be part of this disgusting criminal racketeering scheme, as if that wasn't done. I'm a third generation Scientologist that never had a shred of consent, as my whole life was literally disrupted by everything that Mike Rinder did as a full-blown adult. Who is responsible for propping this up as a religion, Mike Rinder? Who was the mastermind for that? Who was the legal mastermind doing the bidding, coordinating, talking to attorneys, using your little voice of Australian to really, you know, win people over? Who? Were you not involved in any of that? Because you always put a lot of distance between the facts, between your overts. All you ever do is give other people's overts away. Oh, but David Miscavige, really watch out for him. He was the one that did it all. I was just an innocent little bystander that always just wanted to clear a world and really, you know, do the best for everybody.
They're out here on Watterson Street guarding these white lines. Watterson Street is a small side street shared by both Scientology and the Lisa McPherson Trust.
The white lines were burned on Watterson Street a week after the trust opened, and just hours after this lengthy meeting between officials from the city, the Clearwater Police Department, and Scientology's Office of Special Affairs. You can see Mike Roberto in the white shirt walking off to the right. That night, Scientology hired the first pair of off-duty police officers, but the rules change daily.
I just want a clear, firm response from the police department on what the rules are here.
In bending over backwards to appease Scientology, Roberto and the police department created new laws on the spot that even its own officers couldn't understand.
So I can't go across the line now. No?
Even worse than the confusion over how to manage the white lines is the byproduct of the creation of this rather unique bus unloading zone. You see, now a large percentage of the Clearwater police force work directly for Scientology, and they're supposed to report to Mike Rinder.
They're supposed to report to Mike Rinder. Not great, Mike Rinder, that your name keeps coming up no matter where we look. Let's literally listen to that again.
This rather unique bus unloading zone. You see, now a large percentage of the Clearwater police force work directly for Scientology.
Subject, extra duty assignment. Location, Clearwater Scientology. I will not be able to handle this assignment. Imagine what type of I will or I will not be able to handle this assignment we have now inside of the LAPD. As Mark Bunker just reported here, the majority of the police force went and signed up with a little check mark. That's all it took. Oh, I did take an oath, but I did hear that, you know, they are paying overtime. So why not make an extra buck while I violate my oath? Why not go and form a complete biased opinion based on the fact that I am getting paid by the people that were trafficking underage kids? Clearwater Police Department. This is y'all's legacy. This is who y'all were literally protecting. In what world was I or any of the other underage kids that were stuck in those buildings supposed to know that something really nefarious was going on with us? Everything looked legit. Everything looked, oh, look, literally things are literally checking off because there is evidence right there. Subject, extra duty assignment, location, Clearwater Scientology. So what are we doing now in the LAPD? Subject, extra duty assignment, location, La Pubelle. I will or will not be able to handle this assignment. And all of a sudden, the LAPD people that are showing up at La Pubelle play dumb very, very quickly. Because apparently all it takes in America is to hire off-duty police people, and then all of a sudden write a little check mark, and then all of a sudden the oath they took to the taxpayers, they don't give an F about that. Mind you, the taxpayers pay them more than Scientology. You would think. I mean, unless they're really actually getting double their pay to work for Scientology and not from the taxpayers. That's what we would really like to understand right about now.
And they're supposed to report to Mike Rinder, the head of the Office of Special Affairs.
Contact Mike Rinder. So you, Mike Rinder, have a lot to explain for your damn self right about today. Before you were little Mr. A billion years, let me really talk about this, let me really talk about that. But here is a little document that really does call out your name. Contact who? Mike Rinder. This is your goddamn name on this paper. So you can be more implicated in what? Setting up how protests get handled inside of these hotels and commercial buildings. Right or wrong, Mike Rinder? It's a yes or no answer. Don't blab on and on. Just answer if you were literally implicated in setting up this deal to fully kneecap the Clearwater Police Department so they would stop investigating you and your disgusting posse.
Again, this is the new name for the Scientology department that once broke into the FBI and the IRS, stole.
The new name is what you were, Mike Rinder. The new name that took over from indicted and convicted and fully sent to the pokey Mary Sue Hubbard. You were the new name. You were the name of the new office that did what differently than the Guardian's office, Mike Rinder? Exactly what did you do different? Literally exactly what? There was policies that even you were a peon, that you couldn't challenge, that you couldn't change. And you were so sycophant over L. Ron Hubbard that whatever your little daddy figure told you to do, there you were doing it. Oh, let me really save a world, because L. Ron Hubbard did write for himself here that the way that you save a world is by kneecapping law enforcement, that the way that you save a world is by ensnaring minors to give away their passports to us to, keep it real safe. And whatever other deals you made with the Clearwater Police would be great for you to start setting the record on that straight with a full-blown straight face type stuff on your blog. The stuff that nobody knows is what we need to find right about now. Not your little safe paperclip withholds that you've already told ad nauseum, your little short stories, because that's all you ever do. Pathetic short stories. Oh, let me really tell you something, you guys. Let me really tell you this. Let me really tell you that. You never say anything. You are L. Ron Hubbard's pro bono publicist. Imagine that. That you're that disgusting that you would have done all of this pro bono. That's how dedicated you were to your little daddy figure, L. Ron Hubbard. That is how dedicated you literally were. On the public record, not our opinion, the truth is neutral. Were you paid to do this job? Yes or no? Oh, you also were getting paid $47? Got it. You were also being paid bare minimum? Got it. You think that's a sacrifice? You think that's something you really should be parading around as a badge of honor? Make it make sense. We literally dare you to make this whole scheme make a lot of sense in this year 2024. So yes, congratulations for blowing the whistle for however many 18 years you've been saying you're blowing a literal whistle.
Old documents, bugged offices, and that to this very day continues to destroy the lives of those people who Scientology perceives to be the enemy. Today, Scientology perceives its number one enemy to be the Lisa McPherson Trust.
We get calls every day from people who have been harmed by Scientology, calls from people all over the country, people whose families have been destroyed by Scientology, women who've lost their husbands, husbands who've lost their wives, parents who've lost their children.
And I'm sorry, Stacy, but parents didn't lose their children's parents signed them up to be lost inside of those hotels. And yes, they're allowed to then change their mind and go, oh, oopsie, that looks like I did get scammed. Where the hell are my children? But with what straight face can the Scientology parents say that they had no shred of a clue what in the hell they were getting implicated and involved in? It's called L. Ron Hubbard. Pitch them what it was. Here, read it in the book. Lock up against the will. Great. What does the next paragraph say? Oh, ask him disgusting questions right here. So this narrative that the poor little parents had no idea. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, my children have been taken away from me. What part of you giving the passport over to those people was missing? A literal child trafficking crime. Isn't it great that literal child traffickers want to then go and say, let me backpedal, let me pitch myself as a victim, and then all of a sudden, everyone go, wah, 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 I signed up my kids for this, and then I did change my mind, and then they're nowhere to be found on the public record doing anything effective to stop other kids from getting ensnared. Scientology parents only have one mode. I was the victim. Everyone cry for me. Everyone cry me a river. I consented as a full-blown consenting adult. We are not all the goddamn same, which is what we kept getting lumped in the same bucket. Oh, you all just left Scientology? Okay, you're all in the same bucket. So imagine that the same thing we were told as kids inside of the hotel. Oh, you're just all adults. Everyone here is just under the same thing. Everyone's an adult. The same thing now happens afterwards. You were all adults. You were all fully responsible for whatever in the hell you got ensnared with.
And the only place they have to go for help anywhere in the United States is the Lisa McPherson Trust.
We of the Trust every day come down Watterson Street.
And yes, you guys, look at this. I was there when these people were having the literal cops sitting there with this guy, Antonio, that you see right here, that I did the EPF with, that was also a child, that was also brought in from the cadet org to be a security guard, that was also told, you're so important, Antonio, really live it up with the cops, really fraternize with them, who cares, sit down, read newspapers, you know, play it real cool. And then all of a sudden, the entire Clearwater Police Department is fully kneecapped AF.
And see the Clearwater police officers sitting and laughing and having a great time with OSA agents.
Isn't that great, you guys? That they're just there living it up, laughing it up, while we were being sadistically abused inside of hotel rooms, while we were being used as pawns to be part of these hotels. Pawns, being told what to do, being told what our job was, being told, oh, you're a supervisor now, really graduate and really ensnare more kids yourself, Sarge, ensnare them. Oh, look, if that kid is doing it, then every kid should be fair game to this. When I arrived at the Clearwater Hotel, Natalie Galbiati was already the star auditor. Serge, you should be that too. Why don't you go and do the courses? Why don't you go be like Natalie? They use minors to ensnare and to normalize their disgusting, indefensible, child-infested culture so that all of these vultures could have their little hotel religious experience. So let's make sure that that's clear for the people that are still playing dumb and stupid. On purpose, mind you.
The Clearwater Police watch as the OSA agents videotape our every move.
There it is. Antonio, literally, Avila. Antonio Avila right there with his little camera. Back in the day, they didn't have any literal iPhones. But isn't that great that it says trespassing is a crime? And this area is designated. And from the site is a felony read. Trespassing this property shall be guilty of a felony. Violators will be. So what type of felony was trespassing? Also that they couldn't see the kids that they were having locked up inside of the hotels. Right or wrong, Mike Rinder? Or were you not pressed at all? Would you have really allowed Mark Bunker to come and talk to us? Because that's not what we were getting briefed on by Debbie Cook, and give her a call today. Yo, Debbie Cook, Serge tells us that on the staff meetings, you were discussing how, oh, you guys, the picketers, because that's what they were calling them. The picketers are out there. The picketers that are in Theta. The picketers that are all about destroying mankind's only hope to ever be free are out there. The Theta, the disgusting, degraded picketers that got kicked out of Scientology because they couldn't uphold the ethical standards. That is the pitch that Debbie Cook was spewing. Maybe not on behalf of you, Mike Rinder, but you should really ask her, why the hell? Debbie Cook, where the hell did she get that idea? Because apparently you were the contact person per the document that Mark Bunker just showed. So this is not a case where you can go, oh, you guys, I know, but I was in a hole. You're always at the hole when it's convenient. How could you? How dare you, Mike Rinder? How literally dare you sit there pretending that you have no clue about anything? And you've just been literally lying to everyone to ensnare them so you can what? So you can achieve exactly what? Because that's what in the hell we need to understand right about now.
When we walk in or out of our building, the OSA agent grabs his walkie-talkie and reports on our whereabouts. Scientology PIs follow us everywhere. When a visitor comes to the Lisa McPherson Trust, the police watch as the OSA agent grabs his camera and videotapes their license plate. Those plates are run, and then our visitors are later harassed.
Where was the good faith in doing any of this, Mike Rinder? Where was your good faith? Because that's what it's giving every time you open your mouth. Oh, I really did this trying to save a world, you guys. And oh yeah, you know, OSA does this and OSA does that. And OSA also does that, and that. And in what world were you not the named contact person to kneecap the Clearwater Police? In what world was whatever in the hell you instituted here that was a successful action? Remember those successful actions? That's what they called it, you guys. Oh, we have a successful action here. If it worked here, let's try it again. They were all about their successful actions. So tell us, write your blog post. Something can be done about it. Yes, something can be done about it. Like you typing something that is not just a complete hogwash, so you can continue to launder your image and provide cover for L. Ron Hubbard and all the adult proteges that are all about ensnaring minors, because that's what in the hell you're getting called out for. Why the hell did you ensnare minors in your disgusting hotel operation that your little daddy figure L. Ron Hubbard told you was going to be a great place for you to save a world?
The Clearwater Police Department doesn't seem to have a problem with this. We do.
the police officers that are sitting down there are being indoctrinated by the Scientology security officers that are sitting with them all day long.
So there you go, you guys. They're being indoctrinated by a literal minor. Again, this Avila guy who's been one of their go-to people. I was in the EPF with this man. He was a literal young child when he was there. He wasn't in security. He was nothing. He was 13, 14 years old when he was also doing the EPF at the Hacienda Garden. We were all locked up with adults that all would undress themselves in front of us, 12, 13, 15 that we were, and told, go all adults, kids, it doesn't matter. Just, you're all adults. Right, Mike Rinder? Did you know that? Did you know that at the Hacienda Gardens in C Block that we were being housed at the EPF? All these grown-ass men and women, because they did separate the men and the women. So this kid here that grew up in Scientology then got tapped to go buddy-waddy with the Clearwater Police Department. You see him come up and appear again and again and again and again. Every time the Clearwater Police is called, little Antonio Avila is there to the rescue to save point. Right or wrong, Mike Rinder? Isn't that what the whole operation was? Let's really save point everybody. Let's really show them that we're just, regular schmegular people really trying to save a world.
Do we not know that this cult brainwashes people? Do we not know that these officers every day are being induced and told that the people in the Lisa McPherson Trust are enemies and criminals and we're the good guys?
Induced and told. Imagine that the LAPD seems to be under the same goddamn spell as they continue to go, oh, are you guys working together? Are you guys really a bunch of people that are trying to just cause trouble? And, it's like induced and told. In what world does the First Amendment of the Constitution get shredded just so the L. Ron Hubbard proteges can have their little freedom of do whatever in the hell they want and suffer not a shred of consequence? Induced and told is what in the hell's going on.
To impressionable young officers.
Impressionable young officers, as if literally impressionable young officers that are also being groomed by their older LAPD officers that show up to defend all of this. People that are vetted, people that are trusted, as if the leadership of the LAPD doesn't hand select, okay, really tap this one, really tap that one. We have them all on literal photographs. So yes, this operation already worked at the Clearwater Police. And whatever the hell Mike Rinder did to literally be masterminding this operation, as you are named as a contact person, Mike Rinder. So this time, good luck playing dumb. Good luck saying, oh my God, I was at a hole, having my little hole vacation, and I was just, unaware of nothing. Because that's all you ever do. I was unaware. Everyone else did it. I had no idea. I had no shred of clue.
And these security officers are telling them what criminals we all are, how dangerous we all are, what terrible religious bigots we are, all kinds of lies about all of us.
I want to show you some videotapes.
What type of religious bigots are we? So imagine that the same things are being said about us. And you see why all of these LAPD people are so angry at us that we're literally there protesting. Because they are literally calling us religious bigots. So we don't give a shred of an F about adult religious, whatever in the hell they want to believe for their goddamn selves. Right about now, we only give a shred of an F that minors who have no shred of capacity to consent, to be part of this culture, to be turned into slaves, to willingly sign up, to lose all their rights, as apparently is very legal in America. Sign up this consent form, lose all your rights, and no one will give a shred of a literal F. Well, you know what? I'm not here to advocate for those people that want to do that for themselves. I'm not here to advocate for every last shred of adult that wants to commit themselves to something so disgusting and abominable. If they card everyone so that there is no minor ensnared, that would be a great start. That would literally be a great literal start. If they stop pretending that calling a child, a literal child, an adult, then we might be getting somewhere, literally somewhere.
Shot by myself and others over the course of the past 9 months. We believe these videotapes show a clear pattern of bias against the Lisa McPherson Trust on the part of the Clearwater Police Department. This first piece of footage was shot on.
So let's really take a look at this bias, because again, you guys, in what world, Mike Rinder, what did you have to do inside of the Clearwater Police to really prop up this level of bias? Because that would be really great to understand right about now. What type of masterminded things that you conspire with the rest of your posse in the OSA office? Breaking news to you, I am sure that you have no idea what racketeering means. I am 100% sure that you have no idea what a criminal conspiracy is. I am 100% sure that you have so clueless because you grew up in a cult that you have no idea that sitting down in a meeting at the Clearwater building and really sitting down, how can we break this law? How can we compromise the Clearwater Police? How do we have undue influence over these people? How do we pitch the Lisa McPherson people as bigots? How do we get away with doing all of this criminal activity? How are you not organized crime? That would be the very, very, very next blog post you should be posting for yourself right about now. How I, Mike Rinder, had no idea about anything about the law, how it worked, because I, Mike Rinder, wasn't holding the Office of Special, so-called Special Illegal Affairs. In our own opinion, that's what in the hell your office should have been called. The Office of Highly Illegal Affairs. Because if it's giving that you were literally doing this 24/7, 365 for as many decades as you did. And then you left the threshold of a hotel, and then you've done nothing but pitch yourself ad nauseum as some little victim that once upon a time did get put in a hole. In a literal hole is all you've ever exposed that's not already on the literal public record. As if you didn't literally rehabilitate your image to really come across as whatever in the hell you are pitching yourself, and whatever in the hell Thomas E. Tobin, your little buddy, did help you to pitch for yourself after you took Scientology off of the first front lines of the paper. As you told us all the SP Times, because back in the day, you guys, it was called the SP Times. Imagine that as kids, we were like, oh, SPs. SPs are bad. SP Times. Oh, they're just like suppressive times. They're just wanting to say all these lies about us. And yes, gullible, idiotic, stupid, naive pawns that we were, underage kids that we were, we did buy the pitch. So all of y'all can really laugh at our expense right now because yes, as literal pathetic kids, we were just buying whatever toxic lies these people were spewing to us. We had no shred of intellect to push back then.
On February 1st of the year 2000, two German filmmakers had asked me to come along as they shot a documentary about a famous German Scientologist artist who now lives in Clearwater. The day before, the German filmmakers had gone to the police department and asked if it was legal for them to knock on the door and ask for an interview. Wayne Shallor, the police spokesperson, assured them it was. As we headed back to our cars, a man ran out of the house with a hammer.
See that camera? What if I smash that fucker for you? Oh, smash it. You better go. I called the cops. Get the fuck out of here.
Is this?
Get the fuck out of here.
On the public.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm on the public property too. You wanna start some shit with me? Hey. How do you like that?
The man's name was Richard Barnard, and he claimed to be an electrician doing some work inside the house. Barnard struck the camera twice with a hammer and once with a screwdriver. But even more unsettling than the attack from Barnard was the reaction of the Clearwater Police Department.
Police is coming.
The first to arrive on the scene was Officer Terrence Kelly.
Is anyone seeing a pattern here, or is it just us, literally? And what type of pattern did you set up, Mike Rinder? Because your policies are nice and alive today. Whatever you taught your proteges back then, with you nowhere to be found today, no one's saying that you're still at the office there. You do claim to have left. But apparently your policies didn't leave. Apparently your proteges are still smashing phones. As is literally Danny SOS didn't get his literal phone smashed. As if Confident Chris wasn't assaulted in a horrendous, disgusting way just the other day. As if Jessica Palmadesa didn't get hit. So now let's really see what the police does when they do show up to, really want to get called for an assault. That all got caught on tape. You guys all saw it. The same thing we're doing today. Oh, look, LAPD, we really do have it on tape here for y'all to see. So let's see if they react the same, or if they really are great American heroes, the ones at the LAPD and at the Clearwater Police.
According to recently released documents, Kelly is one of the police officers who works for Scientology on his day.
Isn't that great that we do have those recently released police documents? Where the hell are the documents of the LAPD is what in the hell we need to understand right now. All of these police people that are showing up there, blinding themselves, poking themselves with a literal... Oh, you have a video? Oh, okay. Okay, call an Uber. Okay, but she left. Oh my God. Everything. Oh my God. The LAPD, they're on the scene. LAPD. Who in the hell is protesting y'all? We're protesting Scientology. We're protesting the people that trafficked us as underage kids, in case y'all didn't get the literal memo. You want to be ensnared with them for God knows what reason. You keep doing all the wrong things for God knows what reason. Nobody cares about you. You go do a job you're getting paid to do. Stop becoming part of this mess already. So, but yes, apparently there are documents that show location, Clearwater Scientology extra duty assignment, signed T. Kelly. So that would be very great to get for ourselves right about now. How many of y'all at the LAPD are getting paid to play dumb? Because that's what in the hell this is actually getting called out for, since we do have you all on tape. So let's really see what the reaction is from this guy who did show up, with a horrendous conflict of interest, with a horrendous bias, with a paycheck. That's what in the hell it's called. These people get paid a paycheck, and then all of a sudden they can look a million other ways, even if it gets caught on tape.
Days off.
That's okay. Can you explain?
Yes, these are German documentary filmmakers who are here shooting a film about Scientology. They've had several documentaries that have been produced already. They're trying to get an interview with the person in this house here. These two gentlemen, and I came along just to videotape to make sure that nothing happened.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me?
You've been up on.
Yeah, I work for the Lisa McPherson Trust. These fellas came into town and just asked me to come along as backup. Okay.
Oh, he attacked us. What's that? He attacked us with a hammer. He made like this.
Yeah, he did. He hit the camera.
Let me see everybody's ID. Driver's license, ID card. What do we got?
Imagine that paparazzi, you guys, when celebrities get real press that they're getting followed by paparazzi, even celebrities face literal legal repercussions if they dare to touch a paparazzi. And you guys can all GTS for yourselves so you can see if that's actually a thing or not. All celebrities aren't allowed to go and smash the property of civilians that are allowed to record them on a public street.
There you go. Now, in a moment, I'm going to turn off the video camera after Officer Kelly expresses some concern about it continuing to run. In fact, Officer Kelly was more concerned about my video camera than he was about the hammer attack. After I turned off the camera, Officer Kelly told me it's a felony to record people's voices without their permission. In fact, he threatened to arrest me for the footage you just saw.
Threatened to arrest him. Isn't that great, you guys, that even literally Aaron Smith-Levin got arrested for getting hit, getting assaulted, and videotaping, because apparently the LAPD does go with the same narrative that the Clearwater Police is going with here. It's a felony now. It's a felony to ask for a shred of transparency. It is a literal felony to have a receipt so that, you know, that's what the judges want to hear. They're not going to hear your case of you just blabbing your mouth and saying, oh my God, judge, they did this to me. Where's your evidence? Oh, I don't have it, but I would love to make an allegation. Well, you know what? Allegations in court, they don't give a shred of an F. You can cry them a river. They could not care any less. They don't have the time to sit there and listen to blah, 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 and more blah, blah, blah. It's called That's Now How the Courts Work. Show me your evidence. What happened? How can you prove it? This is against the law. Go do some time. But apparently the Clearwater Police and the LAPD are very pressed that videos can be used to literally hold them accountable for what in the hell they're doing. And they don't like it. They hate it.
I told Kelly once again that a man attacked us with a hammer and that I had the whole incident on videotape and I could roll it back and show it to him.
Oh, smash it. You better go. I called the cops.
His response to me was a question. Did you inform that gentleman with the hammer that you were recording audio? If not, that's a felony.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm on the
In what world are we seeing the same shit with a different air freshener, you guys? In what world did Jessica Palmedesa had this happen to her just the literal other day? Look, I did catch the guy hitting me. And these idiots were going with the fact of, oh, it's a felony to record someone's voice on a public street. Imagine that they just make up shit out of their literal you-know-what and just throw it around to just what? Intimidate with the force that they do have. The police can arrest you. The police can handcuff you. The police can take you to a place and lock you up against your will. There's supposed to be protections to make sure they cannot just willy-nilly do that without a shred of evidence. But apparently, you know, anything goes in America. Apparently, it's all just a complete and utter shit show is what in the hell this is giving. All because you, Mike Rinder, set up some sort of kneecapping situationships contact person that Mark Bunker just outed you for being the person behind the scenes, pulling the strings on the Clearwater Police to make them look like this, to make them look like goons, to make them look like idiots. Why? Why did you make the Clearwater Police look like total imbeciles? Why did you do that, Mike Rinder? Because right about now, we would love to hear that blog post from you. How I made the Clearwater Police Department look like total, utter imbeciles. Corrupt AF imbeciles is what it's giving. Literally, literally, literally.
Public property too. You wanna start some shit with me?
The next officer on the scene was Officer Holzenbach, who also refused to look at the videotape. Holzenbach is one of the regulars working the white.
Refuse to look at the videotape. Oh, I don't even want to see the evidence. God forbid that I see the evidence and then all of a sudden I can play dumb.
Lines on Watterson Street. Scientology pays the officers $21 an hour for a total of $178 per day.
Imagine that. That's all it took for Mike Rinder to pay these imbeciles $21 per hour. And all of a sudden they forgot their oath. All of a sudden they forgot who pays them. All of a sudden they forgot who they're serving. $21. They could have gone to the fucking Clearwater Mall and they could have found a job for that much money if they were that pressed to do that. And all these people have gotten a front row seat. Once they're vetted, once they're the ones that they can really trust, they did get access to the hotel. They did see me, Laura, whoever in the hell child was in those hotels coming in and out of there. So imagine that $21 an hour is all it takes to have no shred of police department doing their job for $21.
Holzenbach's total pay for the first 8 months of the year 2000 was $2,848.
$2,848 for 8 months. And then all of a sudden, they have no scruples. They have no spine. They don't give an F about their oath. They don't give an F about who's actually paying their salary. They're just looking for supplemental income. Imagine how desperate these people are for $2,848 forget about everything that they were supposedly taught at the police academy that supposedly be, really telling them, oh, the DOJ is going to really come down hard on us if we get found to not be following the Constitution, which is the only thing we swore an oath with. But here it's giving that they have sworn an oath to you, Mike Rinder. So we would love to hear what kind of oath you put on the table. So that $2,848 was all it took to kneecap this police officer and for you to show the successful actions for them to still be doing that today in the year 2024. So you leaving the threshold of a hotel has not changed a shred of how that office operates. So imagine how much successful actions you left behind so that your minions, your proteges that you did have under you could just do, oh, whatever Mike Rinder said, let's do it again, you guys, because it's working real well. Look how well it works, you guys. Look how well it works. Mark Bunker has done its due diligence. Mark Bunker has shown receipts. This is what they're getting paid. This is who they're communicating with. This is their contact person, and it was you, Mike Rinder. No one else's name appears in that contact info sheet. So whatever was done at the Clearwater Police Department is being done at the LAPD, and you have the manual of what it took to corrupt them all. So start typing things on your blog about all your corrupt, disgusting, back-ended deals that you did cut for yourself and the rest of your buddies that you were really, 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 really pressed to protect and serve yourself. For pro bono, imagine that Mike Rinder didn't even get $21 an hour. Imagine how pathetic you have to be doing all of this corrupt dysfunction literally pro bono.
It wasn't until a sergeant arrived on the scene that anyone took a look at this videotape. The sergeant ordered Officer Kelly to do an investigation, yet Officer Kelly refused to even ask this man for an ID. If he had, he would have discovered that on this day, Richard Bernard gave the police a phony name, a phony birth date, and a phony social security number. It was only later discovered that Richard Bernard had skipped bail on a cocaine trafficking charge. He is now serving a 1-year prison sentence in Key West.
So imagine that this is the type of people that Mike Rinder's office was tapping. So yes, you guys, we couldn't be more in danger because you know what? They're not going after respectable people that have anything to lose. They are going for people that have nothing to lose if they commit a felony assault on confident Chris that, you know, nobody caught on tape. And this man that you just saw walking in with a hammer, giving a phony name, it's called They Got Caught, because Mark Bunker actually did pull the string. Who is it? Who is this man saying he is? Doesn't make a shred of sense why this man would come out with a hammer, looking all pressed, looking all deranged, yelling all the disgusting things he just yelled at. Because what? What the hell does this man do?
One of the issues that's come up in Clearwater has to do with peacefully protesting. There are people who want to protest Scientology's abuse and deception by picketing.
Scientology reacts very aggressively toward any form of criticism. L. Ron Hubbard's policy was always attack, never defend.
So there you go, you guys. Scientology is pressed AF to be criticized. You cannot call the facts. You cannot tell them what in the hell is going on because all they do is act unhinged. Mike Rinder, this is giving psychopath from hell vibes, just so you know. FYI. You don't want to be told to rein it back? You don't want to be told to follow the law? Then why the hell did you go around implicating as many attorneys as you have implicated in your scheme? Because right about now, you should be really thinking about that. And you should be really writing another blog post, how I ensnared attorneys by paying them more than $21 an hour. I'm sure that all the attorneys that you hired, Mike Rinder, were wanting to get paid more than just 21 bucks. But who cares? You had all the money in the world to kneecap all the attorneys that did say, oh, in America, we defend whoever wants to pay. As long as you pay, we'll help you. You're on the record stating you were after prominent attorneys. Imagine the idiots that bought Mike Rinder's pitch. Imagine being that Ivy League trained attorney that really learned so much and supposedly was very smart because they took the SAT scores and, you know, they got admitted to Harvard and admitted to, you know, whatever other disgusting universities are out there. Teaching law to attorneys that can become Frankensteins and literally have zero repercussions. Zero. It's supposed to be, oh, they're really trustworthy because, you know, they really will lose a license if they got caught lying. Well, imagine that all the attorneys that Mike Rinder has been ensnaring to be part of his little scheme have been lying for this disgusting man. Because in what type of technical world can you just pitch a lie to literally cover up systemic, institutionalized child trafficking of minors at an industrial scale worldwide, mind you? Not just across state lines, not just across this, it's a worldwide scheme that Mike Rinder set up. with all the police departments implicated. We already have it on record. The Las Vegas Police Department also falsely arrested DOA for, literally kid you not, playing YMCA outside of the facilities of Las Vegas organization. Commercial building. They don't have a hotel in Las Vegas. Breaking news. Not everywhere they have a hotel. They're very, very specific about where the hotels are, because everything is a feeding center. Okay, we really have this rich millionaire here in Las Vegas that really would love to come and do more services. Okay, then send him to Celebrity Center across state lines. Give him a minor there to service him, including but not limited to. Oh, he wants to go to a better org? Oh, we'll send him from Las Vegas to Florida. We have a hotel right there where the literal magazine had the cover of the magazine minor, Natalie Galbiati. You want to come get sec checked by Natalie Galbiati? Come and get your freak on, because the IRS is going to subsidize that. The IRS is going to give you whatever in the hell you want to do to a minor inside a Florida hotel, because that is the state of affairs of this disgusting, despicable scam.
1967, L. Ron Hubbard wrote that anyone who criticizes Scientology is a criminal.
What are your crimes against not only Scientology, but what are your crimes against humanity? I'd like to know.
Hubbard declared any enemy.
Imagine the projection of these people, you guys. What are your crimes against humanity? I really like to know. What are your crimes? How many children are inside of that hotel, sir? I was there. I was literally there, brought from another country. So in what world are you going and projecting on others about crimes of humanity? You all have crimes against children. That's the only crime we care to discuss for ourselves, given the fact that that's the crime that we experienced inside of those hotels that did F us over. That does still sting AF, is what happened to us before 18, before we had no capacity to understand what in the literal hell we had gotten literally ensnared with.
An SP or suppressive person. In his fair game policy, Hubbard wrote that an SP may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientologist, may be tricked, sued, or lied to, or destroyed.
I don't think.
In what type of straight face America world can anyone literally say that a policy that literally incites lawlessness be recklessly lawless? This is not protected activity. This is not protected activity. This is not write whatever in the hell you want, and then all of a sudden no one can have a shred of opinion about it because what, a convicted indicted felon wrote it? L. Ron Hubbard? Now it's a very religious what? How can we have a country that purports to be about the law, and then a convicted felon can write whatever to break a law, and then they see not a shred of consequences? And L. Ron Hubbard wasn't just any regular schmegular, is a man who was all about normalizing systemic institutionalized abuse of minors at an industrial size scale. Right or wrong, Mike Rinder? Were you not calling children adults? Were all of your little buddies in that hotel not making children y'all's fair game? Because that's your next blog post. How I, Mike Rinder, myself, out of all the love I had for L. Ron Hubbard, made all children inside of the hotels getting snared fair game. You did that yourself. You were there. You were holding the post. You were doing that 24/7, 365 as a full-grown adult. You got into the Sea Org when you were 18. Don't forget that. You literally made that decision as an 18-year-old. So yes, it sucks to be you. It sucks that your parents sent you and shipped you off to L. Ron Hubbard. So go and protest whatever in the hell your parents did to you. And then take accountability for everything else you did as a full-grown adult. Because that would be very, very great to see you actually take a shred of accountability and responsibility and not just go out there and blab and blab and blab away with all the platitudes that you give off, all the short stories that you have concocted so that you really, have a lot of credibility, and the corporate media loves talking to you and getting your side of the story about how you were placed in a hole. Pathetic.
I think before in the history of this country has an organization struck back at critics in a fashion Scientology has. How do you cope with someone trying to see that you get fired or ruin your credit or follow you day and night or kill your animals?
This is
Literally, this is a retired Clearwater police chief killing your animals, ruining your credit, beating you up, getting you fired. Never has an organization in the history of this country gotten away with it. Why are they getting away with it, FBI? Please, MF, advice. Why are they getting away with it? Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice. Why are they getting away with it? Why are y'all sitting there with your heads up? You know exactly what in the hell we mean. Why is that happening? Are y'all not getting paid enough? Do you all not have enough resources? Are taxpayers in America not giving you enough money to enforce the law? So that children that are under the age of 18 do not have to be ensnared, do not have to be co-opted into this disgusting, despicable scheme that apparently you all find extremely religious. And let's be very respectful. Oh my God, you guys, let's really be respectful. What type of degenerates abuse kids, all with impunity, full knowing, and that also with a straight face get all the protections and the law enforcement and everyone there to help them? Does the law enforcement people not have kids? And if they really feel like they want to protect this shit, then you know what? Expose your kids to sessions of Scientology. We dare you all. With all the info now that is available on the public record, with all the info that we put out there for yourselves, expose your kids to what these people do. And call that a religious practice with a full straight face. And if you can do that, and if you can get a video recording of that, and if you can play it on YouTube to tell us how everything is wonderful inside of there, then, we'll shut up permanently. And if all of America agrees that locking up a child against their will is a religious experience, then yes, we will shut up. But until then, it says in the Constitution and in the law that you are not to be locked up against your will. That's a felony, Mike Rinder. That is a felony. With what straight face are you literally blabbing, pretending that you have no idea that locking kids against their will inside of a hotel room is a full-blown felony? It's called false imprisonment, in case you didn't know that. Even your little buddies at the Clearwater Police cannot do that. But you that completed a 2-week course inside of a hotel, do it. Do it. Do it. Imprison kids. Who cares? No one is watching. No one is coming inside the building. Even reporter Mark Bunker wasn't allowed to go see what we were doing inside of those buildings. Debbie Cook was really, really pressed because she did warn us about Mark Bunker. There's a big SP that is really wanting to, stop the clearing of the planet, you guys. His name is Mark Bunker. So if you see him, make sure you don't answer anything. Make sure you run. They started putting us in vans to go from one For 100 feet, we couldn't even walk outside. And we didn't understand why. It was all pitched like, oh, we really want to save you. We really want to protect you. What in the hell were they really protecting? That's what we want to know now.
Scientology's enemies list. 47 pages and thousands of names of organizations and individuals that Scientology has labeled its enemies. Right near the top of this list, Scientology certainly has placed the chairman of the board of the Lisa McPherson Trust, Bob Minton. One night in July, the Clearwater Police watched as dozens of Scientologists surrounded Bob Minton and tried to provoke an incident.
I never saw such outrageous conduct in my life. They called Mr. Minton virtually every name that could possibly be conceived. They got in his face, impeded him, and the police stood there and watched and did nothing.
The police have just
The police stood there and watched and did nothing. Imagine that, you guys, that as of today, that's exactly what this police is also doing all the way across state lines in another literal state. Police get shown literal felonies, literal batteries, literal attacks, and play dumb. Police go and show up to so-called do a welfare check on Confident Chris, and minutes later, he was horrifically assaulted. And the LAPD just drove on by as he was trying to flash them and say, hey, help, I'm here on the ground. I was just beaten. My phone was stolen. We're talking decades apart what these protests were about, you know, human rights and Lisa McPherson and all of that. And all I can say, you guys, is they were protesting the wrong thing. And yes, it sucks to be Lisa McPherson. And yes, it sucks that she was dead. But we were stuck and snared in the hotels. And there was no advocacy for children. There's never been a shred of advocacy for kids that didn't consent to be ensnared. If the adults want to make a case for themselves, they can go and pay criminal attorneys and other attorneys that will, for a hefty price, I'm sure, advocate for them. If you're an adult, no one owes you to come and save you. The police cannot go, oh, come out of here, Lisa McPherson. Oh, no, I want to pay for my L's. I want to be part of this hotel. And that's the reason that 18 and under kids that are not adults need to be prioritized. How many more decades need to continue to pass on by before anyone with any shred of scruples can make that point? And why in the hell are no Scientology parents making that point right about now? Well, that's what we're here for, to make that point. And all of you already agree with that. That's talking about common sense. We're not asking to be treated special. We're not asking to be treated anything else. We're literally trying to advocate for a shred of common sense, America. FBI, idiots at the DOJ. 18 and under, can they consent? Yes or no? Department of Justice, yes or no, IRS? The yes or no answer. Are we saying that 18 and under kids can consent to be locked up against their will? Yes or no? Can they be asked about felonies they would have committed and then they never reported to a police? Yes or no? Being video recorded for hours on end, being asked disgusting questions that make no shred of sense. Yes or no? Is that a religious activity that kids are having for themselves? Because it's giving torture, it's giving Guantanamo, had nothing on us. Where was our advocate? Nowhere. Where was our legal representative as we were being criminally questioned? Nowhere. There was no advocate. There was nothing. You had to sit there and take it and take it and take it and take it and pretend that you loved it. Right or wrong, Mike Rinder, you saw plenty of videos yourself. Right or wrong, Claire Headley, you saw videos of that being done to underage kids yourself. You participated. You literally were asking and telling people what type of questions to ask from your RTC office because you really thought you were really superior and really amazing and really high up. Well, come clean already. Repudiate what in the hell you did. Don't just sit there and pretend that, oh, I didn't mean to, but you know, Shelly and Dave did really tap me to become the third in command of all of Scientology, Claire Headley. So yes, the protests are protesting for underage kids. They cannot consent. They have no advocates. They have no way out of this hotel. They have no way of understanding the type of betrayal, trauma from their literal parents putting them there in harm's way and all purporting that, no, we want to help you. We want to help you as we are torturing you. Well, you know what? F that. No child is helped by being tortured. That is what is called in Scientology an out point. You're locking a child against their will. You're not literally considering their comfort level whatsoever. They have no way to impose a shred of boundary for themselves. They cannot say no. They cannot say nothing. They have to say that they love it. Otherwise, their needle won't float. Otherwise, they cannot get out of the session.
Just stood by while these protesters have been assaulted by Scientologists. The police have been absolutely unwilling to do anything to protect the protesters.
Scientologists are trying to provoke an incident.
Scientologists trying to provoke an incident. The police wants to do nothing to protect the protesters. In what decade are we living, you guys? This is a long time ago, once upon a time. And yet, Mike Rinder's policies and procedures, successful actions and programs are still being implemented as we speak. Yes or no, Mike Rinder? You were the contact person for this. In what world is your orders? In what world is your masterminding? In what world are your successful actions not being implemented by OSA right now? And if you know all of them, in what world can you make it stop? You're not making it stop. You don't give an F is what in the hell it is. You don't give a literal shred of an F. Your own son is still stuck there. My own underage cousin is married to your son. Brought from another country, mind you. Where the hell is your outrage? Where the hell is your outrage, Mike Rinder? You have none because you're very proud of the position that you were holding. Imagine that you're proud. You should be disgusted, not proud.
Here, a shoving match is caught on camera. The Scientologist in the plaid shirt has to be restrained by Scientology security personnel. This footage was shot by Jeff Jacobson, who works for the Lisa McPherson Trust. I came onto the scene shortly afterwards and caught this on tape. Another Scientologist gives some advice. Let them go to you.
Let them do it to you.
Let them go to you. So for all of you who want to protest, do not engage with these people. You have no idea who they are. You have no idea what type of background they have. You have no idea what type of OSA orders they're being fed to act lawless and know that they have the police in their pockets. They are dangerous.
We respond in anger and lash back. The Scientologist hope will get arrested. That way, they can prove that L. Ron Hubbard was right when he said that anyone who criticizes Scientology is a criminal.
You're standing on the road, buddy.
Let's go back 2 days earlier to a different picket. This is Scientologist Dennis Clark, who's going to try to provoke me.
Looks innocent, but take a look from another angle. He steps on my foot and jabs me with his elbow. Let's look at it again, slowed down. Dennis Clark checks over his shoulder to see if anyone's looking. He steps on my foot and jabs me. Moments later, he tries the same thing with a second cameraman and gets a bigger reaction.
Excuse me. Hey, don't you fucking push me, man. Excuse me, man. You had your elbow right out there. That was nice.
We have that from a second angle, too.
Excuse me. Hey, don't you fucking push me, man. Excuse me, man. You had your elbow right out there.
Don't you effing push me, is what that man is saying. Imagine that, you guys.
Bullied and grabbed by Dennis Clark. Left a little scratch on my left hand or left arm. 2 days after that, I was again present, this time at the press conference at the Lisa McPherson Trust. There was someone lurking in the parking garage. So I went up there with another person following me and got up to the third floor and opened the door, and who did I see but Dennis Clark lurking in the parking garage and spying on the people coming and going there.
You doing all right today?
He suddenly got up and elbowed me as he went by and went down the stairwell. He decided to turn around and come up and accuse me of harassing him.
No, not at all. Get it out of my face. Get it out of my face now. Get it out of my face. Get it out of my face. Excuse me. Get the fuck it's out of your face. Get out of my face and stop harassing me. You got it? You got it? Get out of my face. Want to try it one more time?
Just who is Dennis Clark?
There you go, you guys. The literal time it happened in the year 2000. Imagine we're already a quarter of a century has passed. And what has changed? Nothing. Why? Because nothing changes if nothing literally changes. Right, Mike Rinder? What type of policies have been repudiated by the proteges that you trained inside of those offices? None. They're still at it doing the exact same thing. And where in the hell are you having a conversation, sounding the alarm over these horrendous, disgusting, depraved ways? Nowhere. Your silence is everything that anyone needs to see, because the receipts speak for themselves. You only blab when you're getting paid. You only blab when it's beneficial to you. You only blab when you're going to make some ad dollar money for yourself. You only blab when you're going to be rehabilitating your image and literally pitching yourself as the victim of a man that is literally half your size.
Clark. Well, he's the head of the CCHR, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. That's a Scientology front group set up to attack psychiatry. This human rights leader seems to have a lengthy history of antisocial behavior. In 1986, the author of this book, L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman, reports that Clark came to his office. When the author wasn't there, Clark pointed to the author's assistant and said, "You'll do," and punched him in the face. Let's take a look at a few more of Dennis Clark's greatest hits. Here he is shoving gum on my camera lens.
Please excuse me. I need to go by here.
You going by then, buddy?
Slapping my camera. Going after Jeff.
You want one? Here.
And when we complain to the police, this is what happens.
Sir, he just stuck gum in my lens.
You stay with him and a camera, and I'll take the other two.
He just stuck gum in my lens. This big jerk right here.
Look, we see it. We can do something about it right now.
There it is. See the gum? I got it on video because I'm recording right now.
The big, tall character identified as Dennis Clark jammed me in the ribs with his elbow and knocked the picket sign out of my hand. And then they surrounded me, and before I could pick up the picket sign, it was gone. So I reported to the police that they'd stolen my picket sign, and the police said that if it was hit the ground, it was abandoned.
So, what's happened to Dennis Clark? Well, so far, nothing. Mike Croats filed charges against Clark in the parking structure incident, but mysteriously, the paperwork for those charges disappeared.
The paperwork for those charges disappeared at the Clearwater Police Department. And again, the CCHR is nothing but a front group It's the office that they use to put distance between them and the Office of Special Affairs. Because that's all this sham is, a bunch of corporations that really put a lot of distance between what? Racketeering, criminal situationships, conspiracies, Mike Rinder, or what? Write that in your next blog post by all means. Write up who CCHR is. Write up how you use CCHR to bend and break the law for yourselves with your little buddies there. Because that would be a very great blog post to read. Something that actually tells people what in the hell you were doing, and not your little sanitized version about how you really want to save a world by enslaving kids 18 and under, your own included, your literal own included, as if you didn't sacrifice your own children, as if you didn't leave the hotel and didn't give a shred of an F that your kids were still stuck behind. And then you now play the victim. Oh my God, you guys, they really have said horrible things about me. Believe you me, they haven't said a single horrible thing about you, because who you are literally could fill a whole book of how disgustingly depraved you are. You normalized all this bullshit. You kneecapped all the law enforcement departments. Start taking responsibility for that, Mike Rinder, and stop giving us your paperclip withholds. They couldn't be more pathetic.
Inside the Clearwater Police Department. Also mysteriously, shortly afterwards, personal information from that police report was posted anonymously on the internet.
They posted my name, age, where I live, and other personal information, including former employers.
So doxing is a practice that you love to do back in the day, right, Mike Rinder? And that's still being done today. Imagine that. Imagine nothing has literally changed at all. Imagine your entire literal legacy is still running a quarter of a century later.
I think in an obvious attempt to intimidate me regarding these charges that I had been wanting pressed.
To this date, no action has been taken against Dennis Clark or any of the Scientologists who have been involved in these incidents. What's really frustrating is when the police blame us for the situation.
That's what's very frustrating, guys. That is exactly what's very extremely frustrating and almost unthinkable. Why is the LAPD blaming us? When we're trying to raise awareness, we are allowed to raise that awareness. We are allowed to ask questions on a public sidewalk. We are allowed to say, no more kids can get ensnared in these horrific, disgusting hotel chains. We are allowed to question the choices, the adult choices that Scientology parents are all in on making for themselves. If they don't want to hear the criticism, believe you me, they should be wanting to hear it. They should be wanting to hear. They should be wanting to repudiate while they can and be like, oh my God, I did get scammed. Let's get our kids out of this before the FBI, Crimes Against Children unit, has to come knocking on our door and we have to literally hire top criminal attorneys to defend the indefensible. Because if anybody here thinks that the Scientology parents as a collective, every single last shred one of them, that profited personally from dumping their kids inside of these hotels to be abused, to be tortured, all full knowing, then what? Then literally what? What, you guys don't think that our parents set us up for this? You think that they were just like the arm was twisted and then all of a sudden they hand over their passport? Believe you me, they were very, very happy to have to pay nothing else for their underage kids. So they could have more money, so they could go up the bridge, so they could go up a level, so they could literally get another tax write-off from the IRS.
Remember the Scientologist who had to be restrained?
Hi. Will you please not touch the camera?
You pushed it in my face, asshole.
Does the phrase "let them come to you" make any sense to you?
Do you remember somebody telling you that at the last picket?
Well, I went across the street to ask the police to please tell the Scientologists not to touch us or our cameras. Sergeant Quinlan, who's here in the center, told me, I saw the whole thing. You were blocking the sidewalk. It's your fault. Here's another angle.
Will you please not touch the camera?
You pushed it in my face, asshole.
Uh-huh. Does the phrase, let them come to you, make any sense to you? Do you remember somebody telling you that at the last picket?
Here I'm gesturing for the police to come over and break this up. Of course, they don't.
The police have become less and less and less willing to protect us. And at this point, I would have to say that I really feel that the police show a prejudice against us.
I have one more piece of footage I'd like to show you. It relates to these off-duty assignment sheets the Clearwater Police signed to work for Scientology. Their assignment reads, quote, security for Scientology members entering and exiting buses on Watterson. Yet he
Now imagine that, you guys. We were entering and exiting those buses ourselves, the underage minors that the Clearwater Police was all about seeing with their own eyeballs, that the Clearwater Police was all getting paid $21 an hour to not see us, to pretend we didn't exist, to pretend that we pulled it in, to pretend that we consented, to pretend that we were just so willing to be locked up against our will.
Here in this footage, shot several blocks away from Watterson, you can see the OSA agent walking his off-duty officer to Scientology's Fort Harrison Hotel to monitor Bob Minton.
So who do we see here again? Bingo. Avila. Antonio Avila. Brought here from Mexico. His family was from Mexico. My parents were with his mom back in the Mexican org, back in the cadet org where I was born, inside of this disgusting scheme myself. My parents were already serving a so-called billion-year contract to these people by the time I was born. I left that disgusting operation after drinking pain thinner at 5 years old. And my mom becoming pressed for the very first time in her life. That's the only right choice she ever made, that woman. Okay, I did really neglect him and he almost did die drinking all this pain thinner. I really should, escape the hotel. Well, don't you worry about it. She was right back in where she left a few years later when she was told, oh, we're going to make you very special again. And just like that, my mother and the mother of this man who was raised inside of these hotels, who the Clearwater Police is all buddies with, cannot smell a single thing wrong, cannot see a single shred of a red flag for themselves. Imagine.
The Clearwater Police Department has become Scientology's police force.
This can be celebrated as the year in which the occupation of Clearwater was completed.
So imagine that a quarter of a century ago, literally almost in August 2025, we will have the full-blown quarter of the celebration of the Clearwater Police Department and all of Clearwater becoming literally sleeping with the literal enemy, the enemy of child abusers that do so with impunity, that do so full knowing, that video recorded, that do transcribe it, that do CC each other on everything that's going on. So they all have zero plausible deniability. So they all have zero ways of saying, oh, I didn't know. I had no clue. Literally.
When a person gets a sign knocked out of his hands, it's not abandoned property. When someone swings a hammer at somebody and with the intent to hit him, it's not no harm, no foul. When someone tries to destroy
slaughter the police chief of Scientology today. The police chief that bungled my investigation. The police chief that after I literally got interrogated by them for hours and hours on end, purporting that they really wanted to hear what happened to me and whatnot, literally wouldn't I find his name here, paid $3,026 for Scientology to tell me that I deserved to be housed with a self-admitted PEDO, that I deserved to be brought from another country and my passport be confiscated, and then all of a sudden I was volunteering. Right here, Slaughter 3026. Slaughter 3026. This is what in the hell is called a receipt that these people are getting paid.
By messing with the lens. And
Scientology paid the off-duty Clearwater Police a total of $89,418. This is now back in the 2000s. Imagine that. I'm sure they're getting a cool $250,000 at this point, at least. And if anybody wants to do a shred of investigations, then go find out and let's get that total. Let's get that receipt for ourselves so that people can stop playing dumb and go, oh, you're making a lot of conspiracies. You really are talking out of, really conspiratorial ways and you're anti-police. Imagine that was the call made on Chris, Confident Chris. Oh yeah, we really would like to check on his welfare because, and beware, he's very anti-police. We're anti-seeing that the police is getting paid almost $90,000 as I was locked up in this literal year inside of those hotels. $89,000. That's all it took to kneecap the police.
cameras, it's not just tit for tat. Do the right thing while you got a chance.
And imagine that nobody listened to this retired Clearwater police chief. Imagine that instead of listening to this report, everyone at the Clearwater Police played dumb. And Chief Slaughter has bungled anything that's ever come his way. Has played dumb because he really wants to make sure his little police force is getting paid at least as what we know right here, nearly $90,000. That's all it took to kneecap the police department. You, Mike Rinder, can really speak to this issue. So by all means, start typing your shit. Instead of taking I really want to take a back seat now, you guys, because you know what? Oh, people are coming after me. Imagine you still play the victim after being that disgusting, nauseating abuser, as if you're not literal Ghislaine Maxwell on steroids. You did what Jeffrey and Ghislaine did on steroids. You 10x'd it, you 100x'd it. How many more minors did you get that were under the age of 18, Mike Rinder, to be part of this disgusting scheme? By all means, let it be known. Come clean already. Stop giving literal paperclip withholds, Mike Rinder. Nobody has the time or the patience to be hearing your BS short stories. That's all you ever were. A storyteller. Let me tell you a story. We really want to save a world. Thank you, Kaijun Juju. I appreciate your super sticker. Thank you so much for your support. I really do mean that, you guys. And y'all support is why we're coming forward with this. Everyone that's being hurt out in the streets while the LA police sits there and laughs at our face is appreciated. Truly. Pure insanity, you guys. Literally. I'll say it. What did Claire know and when did she know it? Thank you, Gerald. That would be a great blog post for that woman to really start typing right about now. What did you know, Claire Headley, and when did you know it? You definitely knew I was into the RPF as a minor. You definitely were there when that happened to me. You definitely were friends with Marty Rathbun. He was your little, friendsy Wency at RTC. He was your, your peer. Angie Trent was right there with you. So you and Angie Trent and Marty Rathbun can really have a conversation together and figure out why the hell were you sending kids to literal camps filled to the top of the most egregious, disgusting, self-admitted felons, because that's what the RPF was, in case you didn't get the memo. In case you want to play dumb and stupid, don't. Nobody has time or patience for that at this point. Nobody should have the time for any of that. If you care more about real evidence of what Serge is saying, listen to the testimony for Lover Taverna, Lavenda Banshaik, David Ray from 1982 Clearwater hearings, and it will blow your mind how corrupt it is. Thank you, Paris Cashin. Yes, we'll post it up. It's a little bit hard to hear, but we definitely need to post it up because the information has been out there, you guys. The information is all over the public record, and that's why Mike Rinder is getting called out. The crisis manager that he was, the phony man that really told everyone, I really want to save a world and I really want to talk about this and that. And all he's ever talked about is his little BS victim story about how David, a man half his size, was beating him. In what world have you come clean, Mike Rinder? Please, by all means, advise what type of world that is. Because that we're pushing back on that false narrative that you've been pitching out there for yourself. Oh, I really wanted to come clean. I really wanted to save a world. And you know what? You haven't saved anybody but yourself so far. That's what's on the public record. You did rehabilitate your image. I'm sure Jelaine right about now is twisting and turning in her jail cell saying, why did Mike Rinder get a pass and I didn't? This is what it's called, you guys. Same shit, different air freshener. That's all we ever get from you, Mike Rinder. That's literally all you ever do. You shit yourself in your pants and then you throw around a little bit of air freshener and then go, oh, you guys see how clean I am? Well, you know what? That trick is not going to work anymore. You have shat yourself in public. You've done this all to yourself. Everybody's waited for you to come to the conclusion and the cognition that maybe you did do something wrong. Maybe these hotels should get shut down, given that there's 18 and under implicated. Your own son wasn't enough for you to want to do that. Isn't that great? That you literally don't give an F? Serge, what can we do to help the most? Children can consent. Thank you, Rin. I mean, I don't know, you guys. I don't know what we can do to help the most at this point because, I don't know. I mean, help protect us. Help in any way, shape, or form that you can to spread the awareness and, literally, I don't know. I mean, I'm out of words. I'm a never in, but I'm also a survivor, and I stand with you and hold this place, and I'm very proud for you speaking out. Thank you, Rosina Box. I really appreciate that. I mean, holding space for survivors is the very first thing, and I couldn't agree more with you that as survivors, all that we are from different traumas. I mean, you guys, it's what it's called. You know, these abusers all did the same thing to everybody. Just because they had different branding on the wall, you know, it doesn't mean that your abuse wasn't the same. Either they were locking you up against your will, they were abusing you with unthinkable power dynamic imbalances, they were essaying you, they were covering up for each other. I mean, you know, it's the same old shit, different air freshener. And I really appreciate that all of you who see our plight and are holding space for us today are doing that. And that is already powerful enough, you know, like we didn't have this when we were inside of the hotel. So today we do have people paying attention. We do have people that aren't okay with kids being implicated and aren't okay with all of this Scientology executives and adults that were full-grown men and women just continuing to do it and just play dumb and just pitch something that, you know, really serves them. So the more we hold people accountable, the more courage we can spread to other survivors to let them know no child abuse inside of these hotels deserved it. It's all reckless lawlessness that has been subsidized by this American IRS. So I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mommers. Yes, that's the email. My email's on my bio. Thank you, Mena. That's exactly right. That's our message. That's what we're saying. Kids cannot consent. Get them out. Don't get them implicated. Tell those Scientology parents to stop playing dumb. Tell those Scientology parents to warn themselves. Warning, you cannot pay to have your child abused. If you love it, if you like it, miss them with that pitch. They won't like it. They should not be exposed. It's disgusting. Robert E. Mango, where in the hell are you? Because it's your clients and ex-clients who were at the very top of this pyramid scheme. So where in the hell is Angie Trent? Where is she right now? Angie Trent, that had a lot to do with Lisa McPherson's situationship, as you would know that, Robert E. Mangle, as you would know that cleaner upper of the Lisa McPherson thing that you have told us ad nauseum you were doing, Mike Rinder. So by all means, let us know what Angie Trent had to do with sending me to an RPF to be twinned up with a self-admitted, you know exactly what in the hell he was. His name is Marcus Ginter. Call your buddy, Marty Rathbun, and ask him what was the deal with him, because that would be great. So did you know that they have post signs about trafficking in all hotels in California? Well, you know what? They don't have it inside of that hotel. The Celebrity Center, trust me, they don't have that type of posting there. So it would be really great to understand that, you know, if that's not happening, you know. So they are hotels. That's what they are. People check in, people bring their luggage, they have bellboys, they have all manner of minors that are implicated. Mitch B told me today that he never was weighted by a 14-year-old, and I was mean for saying it. Apparently, he never saw any minors laboring, even though they worked for him. Not sure how that works. Well, and sure, if Mitch Brisker wants to say that he wasn't weighted by it, my own cousin was a waiter at the Lemon Tree, Mitch Brisker. So in what world are you really wanting to put distance for yourself? If you never went to the Lemon Tree because that was like the lower end restaurant, maybe you went to the Hibiscus, because the Hibiscus was the high-end restaurant where VIPs like you were showing up. So by all means, tell us how, if other people did it, then it's not your fault when you were there getting paid on the back of all the children that were exploited. You didn't hire them, but guess what? Your little friend, David, that you are telling us that you didn't have to call him sir So by all means, continue to show your privilege. Continue to show us how good you had it. Continue that. Well, there you go, you guys. That's why you left Mix Brisker. So yes, $8 million. And then, you really were not about it anymore. And you know what? We will advocate for all the Gold staff members that you did know were slaves and miss us with the bullshit that I really thought I was saving a world. What type of tone deafness are you really wanting to pitch right about now? Oh, I really thought it was going to help. Your films didn't help any child that was told to watch them so that they could really see how all the rhetoric from disgusting, convicted, indicted felon, all the art that you put out in the world, you didn't make a cult look good. You ensnared children in unthinkable, disgusting role plays. That's what in the hell is called a fact. If you don't know what that is, then go look at the Johannesburg confessional. Look at the type of questions that were asked of me at 12 years old. Breaking news to you, 12 years. And then see how confessional TRs, your little masterpiece, was used to normalize it. Because yes, we were told to be a little angel. Oh, here, is there anything you're withholding about that promise? Oh, you wanted to cut someone's brakes? Okay, well, your needle is floating now, so woohoo, we really have a great technology here going. Thank you, Ellie. That's exactly what we're saying. That is literally exactly what we're saying. You want to get involved? You love it? Great. Don't let a single shred of child anywhere near it. Put a warning label. Warning. This is a XXX rated AF hotel. Do not bring a child inside of this hotel. Do not expose them to whatever garbage L. Ron Hubbard is pitching. Do not let them take their passports. Do not do any of that disgusting stuff. Hubbard's policies dealt with sabotage, espionage to subvert freedoms of the U.S. and bring about police state. Very good point, Nerman. So in what world is doing that? Saving a world, Mike Rinder and Mitch Brisker. By all means, type a letter of how this statement really provides cover for your delusions, your false delusions of grandeur that were dangerous AF. IRS. IRS is the ones that literally approved this as a so-called religion that an American-bred God literally did put out for himself. So we would love to understand how that works right about now, because that pitch is not really working on us that we are adults. Financial mismanagement in gangs and mafia is when a group is corrupt, and all of them were corrupt. Is what it's called being in a conspiracy. Order followers are the most immoral human beings of all. It doesn't matter what a policy says. Your own consciousness is a filter between those directives and your actions. Therefore, it is your karma. I mean, it's unthinkable, you guys. It's unthinkable that this rhetoric is being pitched with a full straight face as something helpful or beneficial to the end user. The end user ends up being corrupted, dehumanized, completely out of their MF mind. And yes, no adult should have access to that either while we're at it. All adults should be warned. Do not do this rhetoric. You will end up being a deadbeat parent. You don't want that for yourself. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. Chicago Scientology audit. Did everyone see the Children's Purification Rundown flyer we found in Scientology's garbage in Chicago? Yes. Thank you for pointing that out, Chicago Scientology audit, because again, this is our community gathering the receipts that kids are targeted by these people. To end up in a sauna with disgusting men asking you disgusting things in the sauna with underage kids. What type of adults get to spend 5 hours a day with underage kids in saunas wearing skimpy clothing, America? Where else do you find that? Where else is that found? Thank you, Mummers. That's exactly right. 11-11. 11-11. It's time to check the time and move forward. Check the time and really double check what in the hell is going on. So that the same exact stupidity that was role played with a straight face doesn't just continue to happen. Why is Mike Rinder in the Child USA board and not speaking at all about the abuses children in COS are suffering? So that could be another great post for you to put up, Mike Rinder. In what world are you anywhere near a Child USA board to help who? Your own record is abysmal when it comes to advocating for a shred of child. So in what world are you a deadbeat parent who left his kids behind? Your own literal kids behind. You've done nothing to get them out. You've been kneecapped apparently by David Miscavige, who treats them better, and they like him better than you. They rather stay there at the hotel. They rather stay, treated very nicely, because don't think that Mike Rinder's kids are not being treated now special. In Scientology, they make all manner of exceptions for all manner of people so that they can control them. Well, there you go. Throwing blood all over the steps. I mean, enough blood has been spilled. No more kids' blood should be anywhere near those hotels. And, if we cannot ask that of these law enforcement agencies, then I don't know what type of world we are living in. And that's why it has got to be imperative that 18 and under kids get help. And this really gets stopped. True. Very true. They become unhinged. L. Ron Hubbard wrote it in a policy: attack, 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 never defend, never defend. Well, yeah. Imagine that. L. Ron Hubbard tells his proteges to never defend because what they've done is indefensible. They cannot defend the indefensible. Thank you, Panko. Yes, Helen, we were desperate. We became desperate. We were neglected. We were going out of our minds, and our parents are nowhere to be found to help us or to protect us or to do a shred of anything. They were very, very pressed with saving our world while neglecting their own kids with a full-blown straight face. They really did buy that pitch about how special they were and how incredible this and incredible that. Well, you know what? Double check how incredible you have been, Scientology parents. Let the record show you who you've been. So before you project it on us, Go check what your adult choices are. Thank you, Kimberly. It is very appreciated that you guys are able to hear these things and able to see this, because, you know, we do have a community, a growing community of all of you that are just as outraged as we are. We thought that something was wrong with us, as all of these people have made us believe something's wrong with you. Why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? Shut up. Don't do this. Don't do that. We're all the same. Really, let's get all along. We're all in the same bucket. They're still at it, trying to make us seem like we chose this for ourselves, and that, you know, Miriam Francis should be asking very respectful, nice little questions to Mike Rinder. Where was that energy, Mike Rinder, when children were being asked those questions? When children were being asked those questions by me, as all of RTC was sitting there coaching me to do that with other kids. It's disgusting. It's nauseating. In what world are you not disgusted with yourselves? Bonetta Slaughter was Lisa McPherson's FSM from Texas. They relocated their mortgage company to Clearwater, Glendale. Yes. And Bonetta Slaughter, I knew her daughter really well. Her daughter that was also sent to Debbie Cook to be trafficked. Bonetta Slaughter. Ashley. 13, I believe she was. Very sweet girl that who knows where in the hell she is and what in the hell ever happened to her. But again, all the kids of all of these parents just got exposed. They were all too pressed to continue to literally keep up with the Joneses. Not the Kardashians. This is not keeping up with the Kardashians. This is keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, Penny Jones did it. Brooke Jones' mother did it, then we do it too. Oh, Brooke Jones' mother also did this? Well, we will do it as well. Oh, the Minkoffs did it? David and Becky Minkoff did it? Then we will also do it. There's our son, Max Minkoff. Go and save a world, Max. Have a great time. Become an auditor. Really interrogate people. Because you really got to get somewhere by interrogating people. You're going to really get somewhere by locking up people against their will. You're really going to get somewhere by what? I looked up Patrick Perry and he's in court tomorrow. Do you know if anyone is planning to go and sit in the courtroom to be able to report to us on what happens? Great question, Danny. I'm sure that people will definitely be showing up for that. And we will definitely be reporting. I don't know if it's going to be me or somebody else, but believe you me, people will be there. Big props to all the never-ends that are on the streets putting themselves in harm's way for the kids. Literally this. Literally this. Because they should have no dog in the fight, and yet they have shown up for us in ways none of our parents did, none of our family members did, none of anyone else has ever in our lives. So truly, big props to that, because they deserve all the credit that is due from them. Thank you, Liz. Supporting from South Africa. I mean, you guys already had to overcome unthinkable slavery and abuse. So shout out to all the people in South Africa that are supporting us and see straight through the same tactics of slavery being normalized at an industrial size scale. I mean, you have to deal with an entire country. We have to deal with an entire hotel. But again, it's same shit, different air freshener. Thank you, Gypsy. Good point. Some grounding rose water. Thank you so much. You're always so supportive. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Hillary. I mean, every day we're trying to hold people accountable and ask questions that we are allowed to ask. Did Aaron stop you and others from speaking out about Mike Rinder? He admits that nobody would dare speak up while Aaron was in the foundation. Thank you, John Walker. I mean, yes, it's been very scary to be able to say anything, you guys. It's been very scary. I mean, it was never safe to speak about anything because we were told, like, what the hell are you complaining about? They're at least doing something. They're doing all the heavy lifting. They've been doing it for so many years. They're really talking to the FBI. They really want to help save a world. And they were not doing any of that. And that was only becoming available until they shat themselves in public. And then they tried to like literally go, oh, don't you guys smell? It smells like roses now after you shit yourselves in public. And took no accountability and showed in your own actions who you all were and what your intentions were. It was a culmination of that. I mean, I don't know that he ever told me, don't say this about Mike Rinder, but, you know, I wasn't even focused on Mike Rinder because I was also buying the pitch that, well, at least he's trying to help something. I mean, I smelled a rat, but, you know, my own interactions were mostly with Debbie Cook and Angie Trent and the people that abused me and trafficked me personally and directly. So Mike Rinder, as a result of shitting himself in public and then wanting everyone to forget real quick, yeah, he did this to himself. As much as he wants to project, oh, we're coming after him and we're doing this and we're doing that. No. You did what you did. You wrote what you wrote. You shown yourself to not be wanting to advocate for a shred of child, Mike Rinder. You wrote your blog post about Miriam trying to dead agent her and make her look like she's the one with the problem. So you know what? F that. You're the one with the problem. And now everyone has seen you for who you are. Based on you. This is literally what your little favorite phrase is, shooting yourself in the foot. Well, you know what? You shat yourself. And literally all the shit is dripping down your foot. And then you want everyone to not smell the shit? Excuse me, sir. We're not idiots. I mean, I think I already did. The only thing there is to say is, yes, you know, we've always thought that these people were trying to do something, and it's turning out that they weren't. Thank you so much for your super chat. Free Humanity 0077. Thank you so much. Feral Humanity. I love your name. And suddenly her kids are too good to be part of what she developed, Claire Headley. That is. I mean, we don't want any child. Claire Headley's kids should not be anywhere near anyone that practices this disgusting thing. No child should go anywhere near. Thank you, Daisy. I appreciate it. I really do. Oh, see, I didn't catch this, but Brisker told Cuomo, it's not that they're covering up criminality. They're covering up their failure of their beliefs. Speaking on the M. Isn't that great? Hell geared. Thank you. I had no idea that Mitch Brisker said that, but that's all you need to really see. Imagine that the Charles Manson people would go around telling, oh, no, we didn't do anything criminal. We just, you know, we're following a misguided set of beliefs. Helter skelter. Charles Manson told us to do it, and then we did it, and we really thought we were going to save a world because there was a conspiracy that we were all really saving people from. No. So thank you for that information. I had no idea that he had said that or that he had been to Cuomo, but, you know, give it up to the corporate media who is obsessed with anyone who says the word miscavige. Why? because they bank on those segments. It's called clickbait. Anytime they type David's name, they're getting money, 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 money. Oh, so you met Miss Cat? Okay, come talk to us. Never mind that even idiotic Chris Cuomo cannot ask a shred of question because he doesn't do due diligence, because none of these corporate media people do. That's on the public record. If we're speaking on these facts, if we're speaking on our childhood experience, if we're speaking to what in the hell has been happening to Laura, Jenna Miscavige, Miriam Francis, Liz Gale, Liz Ferris, Nora, Aaron, I mean, on and on and on. But, as long as you don't say David's name, which most of us didn't have anything to do with David. David was nowhere to be found in our childhood experience. David wasn't anywhere to be found in my childhood experience. Shelly Miscavige was. Shelly Miscavige knew exactly that I was stuck in that prison camp with a PEDO. She knew that. Before they allowed me to graduate for having really redeemed myself, Shelly got to read all my files, page by page, hundreds and hundreds. Literally, I think I have over 100 folders. Imagine like thick-ass folders. That was called my case. All audits I did under the age of 18. Repeat, all under the age of 18. Thank you, Bunko. That's what we believe too. We're going to come up with titles because you know what? He does like to write a lot. Literally, he loves writing and typing. It's his favorite activity. Type, type, type. Mike Rinder does nothing else but type and type and type all manner of stuff. I feel like we are living in a third world country with the corruption. It's infuriating. Pepperoni Nips, thank you for your super chat. I mean, it's just unthinkable. You're right. I mean, this country has more money given to the Department of Justice, more money given to the FBI, more money given to all of these corrupt police departments. And if they cannot literally take it upon themselves to help kids ensnared, then there's what hope do we have? What hope do we have? Thank you for your super chat, Pepperoni. Absolutely, Paris. Absolutely. It's really unthinkable that survivors have to be put in this position, because it is extremely triggering to end up at this other side, having to call out people that are supposed to be doing the heavy lifting, that are purporting to be wanting to really whistleblow and really help people out. And then they cannot help themselves but shit themselves in public. And then they make it about us having a problem. It's you who has a problem. It's you who wanted to do this to me. And it's like Mike Rinder is Debbie Cook for Miriam. Mike Rinder took his mom to him so that mom would go and help the so-called L. Ron Hubbard life exhibit. Imagine you are a mother and you get seduced to go and dump your kids somewhere very, very young. Her two other brothers, so young. One of her brothers ended up across state lines in Debbie Cook's hotel. Miriam was stayed here. They were all separated. I mean, our families were wrecked. Our families were destroyed. And you know what? No child deserves to have their family destroyed. No child deserves to have their parents literally drinking up rhetoric that should come with a warning label from hell. And it needs to be repudiated. And look at what the Nazis had to do. Look at what Germany had to do in order to repair the damage. They had to go and get tried. And it wasn't enough to say, well, Hitler told us. We had no idea. We were just told to push a button and, dehumanize people and kill them and write it down on a piece of paper. Oh, we killed that many today. What was their name? Let me write it down. Apparently, if you do a lot of paperwork, it's all it takes to just be okay. Because, I mean, if you're doing paperwork, then it cannot be nefarious. And that's what's giving in this exact situation ship with these people. All it took is for them to do a ton of paperwork. All it took is for them to record it. All it took is for them to fully implicate themselves beyond any reasonable AF doubt. And now what? Now they want to put a lot of distance between that? No. The audits are disgusting, unthinkable, indefensible role plays. And if you expose minors to that, let America know what you did, and then let the courts decide if that level of disgusting abuse is something you can really call a religion with a straight face. I really want to thank all of you guys for holding space for survivors. We will continue asking questions. We will continue exposing whatever the hell Mike Rinder's legacy is, just a simple GTS away. And we're finding that Mark Bunker tried to expose this almost a quarter century ago. I mean, at least he is doing something about it and running for council. But in what world are you really associating yourself with Mike Rinder that you really think he's an amazing person now, Mark Bunker? Because that's for you now to really literally figure out. As if you haven't been tapping Mike Rinder to really prop up your campaign. Well, you know what? Think about that twice. You gave us this literal report. Who was kneecapping the Clearwater Police? You are now a council member. In what world is the Clearwater Police not kneecapped? I mean, they're not coming out and doing whatever the hell the LAPD is doing to us over here. But you know what? They have bungled up all investigations that have landed in their literal desks. So in what world have they made any change from what the mayor, Caceres, and this other ex-chief of police really tried to blow a whistle on, only to be fair game by Mike Rinder? Mike Rinder committed criminal acts against them. He conspired. He was part of the criminal conspiracy. In what world do you walk out of a hotel and all of a sudden you have no legal liability? Someone as smart as you, Mike Rinder, would be really great for you to explain yourself with a full-blown straight face. In what world were you conspiring, utilizing people in your office to carry out illegal orders, such as beating people up, such as putting fake evidence here and there, and all the things that are on the record already that happened as a fair game campaign to that mayor? Because you haven't written any of that in your stupid ass blog, full of lies, full of half-truths, full of non-truths, full of paperclip withholds, full of false pitches, full of regurgitating what's already easily available in the public record and you sanitizing it. You have shot yourself in front of the entire country thanks to YouTube, Mike Rinder, thanks to your blog, thanks to what's now available on the public record. Everyone's eyes are open and everyone's nose is no longer compromised by your fake aroma that you've been throwing around to cover up your own shit. Nobody owes you cleaning up and wiping your literal ass as if you were a baby. So stop being disgusting and start coming clean, because you are smeared in shit. You literally threw a bucket of shit on yourself. So stop making it about us having a problem and start coming clean. Use real soap and bubbles now. Call up your friends at the Tampa Bay Times and actually do the truth rundown, and this time tell the truth. Don't sanitize yourself. Don't pitch yourself as a great hero that you're not. Literally come with the goods. Literally break the news. Break something that's a breaking news situationship, not some BS about how you were really, pressed because, someone did put you in a hole and you were all about it. You were all about this disgusting culture that you propped up. And when it got bad for you, then you have a problem. Well, you know what? F that. You make your adult choices make sense. Because right about now, we aren't children that you can easily gaslight or intimidate. We got plenty of very good allies on our side now. Allies that you would not even know exist. So don't try anything stupid. Do not try anything stupid. And for all of you guys, thank you for watching. And we will continue exposing all of this shit and asking questions until every last shred of minor is out of the damn hotels. Thank you.